How's it going, Star Seekers? My name's Luke and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be taking a look at a spooky little title which goes by the name of Ghosts and Apples, and this is one for all you puzzle game fans out there who enjoy the likes of Tetris, Lumines and Puyo Puyo. Unlike those games though, you're not dealing with blocks falling from the sky in Ghosts and Apples, and instead of matching ghosts which pop up out of the ground into nice neat groups within tubes situated either side of the screen, a wholly unique mechanic which makes for some interesting gameplay. With that said then, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest reviews and content, and let's get into it. So the story in Ghosts and Apples focuses around a young boy who, after entering a mysterious house with some rather peculiar architecture, ends up having his soul trapped within his puppet called Jack. After making his way through the house, discovering and unlocking all manner of strange rooms, he eventually comes across another puppet called Shelly who is also trapped in the house, and the two must work together in an effort to return to their own bodies and escape. Now as you work your way through the mansion, periodically Jack receives letters from the various inhabitants of the house who give him gifts and guidance, and I enjoyed how the story itself was delivered through a series of rhymes and poems which are all a little cryptic, but do go some way to explaining things. With this being a puzzle game though, you shouldn't expect the storyline in Ghosts and Apples to have a huge part to play when it comes to gameplay, though I nonetheless found it enjoyable. So Ghosts and Apples is one of those games that is really easy to pick up and play. You begin the game by playing as Jack, and after entering the first room in the house, you're then presented with an empty picture frame which you hop inside of to begin your first puzzle. The main objective of the game is to collect apples and other objects from these puzzles, and these allow you to buy keys from this creepy looking devil dude, which opens up additional rooms allowing you to progress further into the house. Now the mechanics of the game are actually simple enough that you could work them out on your own without any sort of guidance, but upon beginning your first puzzle you're actually given a brief tutorial which teaches you the core gameplay mechanics, and the first few levels go pretty easy on you, but things do ramp up reasonably quickly. Each time you encounter a new mechanic though, you do also get another tutorial stage, and I felt the game did a pretty decent job of easing you into things, giving you a chance to learn its mechanics. Now the general premise of the gameplay goes something like this. Ghosts appear at the bottom of the screen and pop up into the air. Jack automatically targets each new ghost one at a time with his lasso, and then you have to direct them to either side of the screen using the L and R buttons, with the bumpers sending each ghost to the top of each tube while the triggers send the ghosts to the bottom of the tubes. In order to then destroy the ghosts in the tubes, you have to make sure that 3 of the same colour are sitting next to each other, and you need to destroy a certain number of them to complete the level. You're rewarded with apples for each ghost that you destroy, and destroying all of the ghosts will result in a perfect clear, earning you a golden apple. Now the speed at which these ghosts appear and the colour combinations do become more difficult as you get further into the game, and this increases the difficulty as it requires faster reactions from the player. However, you do also have a slowdown ability which can be activated 3 times per level, and this can really help when things get a little bit too hectic to handle. So overall I found the basic puzzle mechanics of the game to be pretty enjoyable, and I can't really think of any other puzzle games which use similar mechanics, so well done to the developers for creating something quite unique. I liked how they changed things up a little, adding some additional challenge and variety by introducing several new ghost types throughout the game, which include black ghosts which can't be matched up, and white ghosts which instantly destroy all ghosts in a tube, and the game also has these special type of challenge levels which come in 3 different difficulties, each of which has a different effect on the ghosts. All in all, I found that Ghosts and Apples offered a decent level of challenge, and to me it kind of played a little bit like a rhythm game, with each level having a preset pattern in which the ghosts appear. In addition to the gameplay variety brought by the ghosts and challenge levels, I was actually quite surprised to find that once you get a few rooms into the mansion, you also unlock Shelly as a playable character, and her puzzle mechanics are actually completely different, as instead of tubes you direct ghosts towards zappers on each side of the screen, and these frequently change colour just to keep you on your toes. Now I also had a little play about with the game's fight mode or versus mode, and though I wasn't really able to play it properly by myself, this mode essentially involves racing to see which player can rack up a certain number of ghost kills first. You're able to customise the game rules a little, turning a few different ghost types on and off, as well as selecting a difficulty level which determines how quickly the ghosts appear, and I can actually see this mode being pretty fun to play against a friend or family member. So visually, I thought Ghosts and Apples was really well presented. I really liked the art direction of it, and I was getting some real Tim Burton vibes with this one. While the visuals of the puzzle stages are kept pretty simple to aid with gameplay, each of the rooms of the house featured a different design, and I really liked the level of detail in the environments as well as the different characters that Jack encounters throughout his journey. When it comes to the game's audio, things are kept a little simpler on this side of things. We get some nice sound effects with the ghosts giving off a pleasant little pop each time you destroy them, and the game's music kinda had that familiar quirky spooky theme to it, which fits fine with the theme of the game, though in total I could only identify 2 or 3 different audio tracks. So on the performance side of things, the game actually runs pretty great on the Switch, and I can't say that I had any frame rate issues at all. Not only was this a pleasant surprise to actually play a game which doesn't stutter every 2 seconds, it was also good to see because you do end up having to direct ghosts quite quickly, and this really would have had a detrimental effect on the gameplay. Now when it comes to other issues, I can thankfully say that there are also very few to report here. I did find that there were odd spikes in difficulty in a few of the game's levels, which ended up taking me 5 or 6 attempts to complete, though overall the difficulty did increase at a steady pace, and the only other thing that I would have to take issue with would be the game's audio, as like I previously mentioned, the game does play a little bit like a rhythm game and there are only a few audio tracks, and I really think that the developers could have incorporated some rhythm gameplay mechanics into gameplay with the ghosts appearing to the music or something, but maybe that's an idea for them to consider if they decide to make a sequel to the game. Overall though, Ghosts and Apples is an enjoyable and solid little puzzle game, with some unique gameplay mechanics and a decent amount of content to keep you occupied. It can get pretty challenging in some of the levels and you will get your fingers mixed up and send ghosts to the wrong pipes, but it's still a very accessible game, and I really don't think that the eShop screenshots or trailers really do the game justice. And so when it comes to my own personal rating of Ghosts and Apples, I'm going to be giving the game 4 out of 5 stars. If you're into your puzzle games and are looking for a new one to kill some hours with, Ghosts and Apples is reasonably priced at around £9 or $10, and I highly recommend checking it out. And so that about does it for this review of Ghosts and Apples on the Nintendo Switch. As always, make sure to hit that like button if it helped you out, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the game in the comments section below, and if you're one of the 85% of my viewers who regularly watch the channel but aren't yet subscribed, then please consider doing so. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.